Are you looking for Valentine's Day decor to set the mood, or you just want to give your home some love? Then this Valentine's Day rose heart wreath might do the trick. Now let's have some fun. Happy Valentine's Day! Valentine's Day is a great time to spice it up and give yourself or your environment some love. And since we are creative beings, we will be creating our own Dollar Tree Rose Heart Wreath on a budget, thanks to Dollar Tree. Because everything is $1. I so love Dollar Tree because as a DIY queen, I love to create and it can get expensive. So I hope you guys are excited, as I am, to create this masterpiece. Give it up for my diva on the left, ayy. Give it up for my diva on the left, ayy. Let me stop. I'm a clown. I hope you guys are having fun, because I love to have fun. So, like you saw in the previous footage, I chose to use chalkboard paint on my heart so that I can later on write Happy Valentine's Day on it, which I think will give it an amazing look. So right now I'm cutting the foam. I try to put it in the closest to a heart shape I can get it at. I broke my brain trying to make this thing somewhat perfect, but as you can see, it's coming together. I was happy that I was able to actually make it look somewhat like a heart and not wasting too much of the floral foam. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. I'm working on it. But you guys just have fun. And as you can see, I'm almost done with the heart. All I have to do is cut it out into a heart shape. All the excess on the exterior parts of the heart will be cut off. And a little tip, do not use a little blade. I'm very experienced with power tools and regular tools, so I do crazy stuff like this, but I do not recommend you do this. Use a longer blade that has a holder on it for protection, for your safety. So let's continue on with this rose heart wreath. You guys, I hope you're having fun. Keep on watching. I hope you're having fun with my diva friends to the left. Listen, you guys, life is short. Enjoy, dance, laugh, listen to music, and do DIY projects like this. I mean, come on. So at this point in the project, we already painted our wreath red, and we have our glitter applied to the interior part of our heart as well as the exterior. Then we'll glue down the wire heart wreath on top of our foam wreath. And then we will start to apply our roses to our rose heart wreath. I am so excited. This project is coming out amazing. I can't wait for you guys to see the end result. So please wait till the end. I will be showing more pictures of how I decorated with roses and petals on the table. So make sure you look out for those photos at the end of this video. And I don't know, tell me, you guys, what do you think? Write in the comments below if you love this wreath and you will give it a try. Let me know. So we will be moving along to the part where we write Happy Valentine's Day on our chalkboard heart wreath. So what I did is I cut out a heart shape and on paper, and just roughly made it center enough so that when I place the rose wreath on top, it'll be centered and I can glue it to each other. So when you're gluing both the wood wreath to the flower wreath, I would flip it upside down and just glue it as you go around the heart, because the glue will dry on you. So I would just do it as you go around on the heart. I love it. This is so cute. I can't wait for you guys to see the pictures at the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I hope this video was helpful and gave you some ideas that you can use for your Valentine's Day decor. I hope you had fun with me and will give this rose heart wreath a try. Happy Valentine's Day, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Comment below, tell me what you think. See you soon.